So, ladies and gentlemen, now after 5 keynote sharings in the morning sections, we will come to the panel discussion section, where the topic of our panel discussion of today is bringing innovation to commercialization. And we're so honored to have invited 4 distinguished speakers come along with a panelist to host this section for us. And now I would like to invite our speakers to proceed onto the stage, and we are so honored to have them today with us. They are Engineer Andrew Young, Associate Director of Sino Innovation. We also have Engineer Dr. Anthony Low, Director of Corporate Customer Experience of CLP Power. Mr. Kelvin Lee, Director of Strategy and Business Development of Schneider Electric Hong Kong Limited. We also have Engineer Andrew Lau, Retro Commissioning Lead of Asia Pacific Engineer and Sustainability Services of JLL, and definitely our moderator for this panel discussion. It's Pups Abayasiri, Associate Director of Digital Products of CLP Innovation. Without further ado, I'll turn over the time to our moderator, Pups. Pups, the time is now yours.
Thank you. Earlier today, you heard a lot about strategies and technologies that we can adopt right now. What we wanted to do was actually finish the morning session to talk about how do we take some of these innovations and bring them to either commercialization or adoption. And there's no better way to do this than actually talk to a set of industry experts who are actually, in fact, shaping the industry. So there are 3 things that we're hoping you can take away from this. So firstly, what are some of the trends that we're seeing either in the short to medium term? And what can you do about those in terms of your decisions? Secondly, it's what are some of the projects that are happening right now, and what are some of the learnings that we're getting from those? And then thirdly, what are some of the barriers that you can potentially face, and how can you mitigate some of these? So I hope you enjoy the session. I'd like to, in fact, go through just a short self-introduction for our panelist members. So maybe first I'll ask Andrew Young from Sino Innovation, our Associate Director.
Hi everyone. So I head up a group in Sino called the Sino Innovation Department. We run an innovation lab, and our purpose is really to engage and bring more innovation into our operation. At the same time, we want to nurture the innovation in the property sectors in Hong Kong. So we're doing a lot of ecosystem building, engaging with startups, etc., and engaging more innovation and technology to be embraced into our operations.
Thank you. And we've got Anthony Low.
Okay, thank you, Pops. Good morning, everybody. I'm Anthony, and I'm the Director of Corporate Customer Experience in CP Power. I'm look after all the aspects of our business customer. So this business customer is, I think we cover a wide range from government institution or commercial and industrial building, and also include some small and medium enterprise. I'm deeply involved in formulate business strategy and also explore innovative technology on how to drive the use of this technology and the application of a smart solution to help our customers to solve their business needs, and also to help them to save energy in combating climate change. So we treat ourselves as an orchestrator to look at the ecosystem of the industry, and also to see whether we can help them to solve the pain point and then provide them the end-to-end solution.
Thank you, Anthony. And then we've got Kelvin Lee, who you heard from earlier.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I had the privilege before to have a slide to introduce myself, and I'd just like to tell you what I am doing at Schneider Electric right now. So 3 hats. I would say the first one is to plan the strategies, how we can leverage the information technologies, the operation technologies, IoT, AI, and other technologies to add more value to our customers in terms of the energy management, asset reliability, and space efficiency, and lots of different matrices. That's the thing I need to do. The second thing is to do the how to engage the very key stakeholders throughout the whole project cycle. If you listen to my presentation before, so there are many stakeholders throughout the whole life cycle, and we need to engage them. We need to facilitate the buy-in of the digital technologies. And the second thing, I'm very happy to take up this role is to as a sustainability lead in our Schneider Electric Hong Kong office, okay, because you just saw the presentation of Cindy, and there are lots of ways we can do on reducing the carbon, on sustainability, and we have to explore different options to help our Hong Kong and even the corporate to decarbonize our carbon or emissions, and also how to make the corporates more sustainable. And that's the thing that I have to do, and I'm also very happy to do. Thank you.
And last but not least, we've got Andrew Lau from JLL.
Thank you. And my name is Andrew Lau, and I'm leading the virtual commissioning business for JL in Asia Pacific. As some of you may not know, virtual commissioning is the most cost-effective way to achieve energy efficiency by using like human intelligence as well as technologies. And we are one of the products to help our clients to achieve their ambitions in terms of energy and sustainability, such as net zero carbon.
Perfect. So what's exciting about this group is you've got experts from the property sector, utilities, and solution and service providers. So I'm also part of CLP Innovation, and one of the challenges that I go through is there's lots of different opportunities and external triggers that are happening, whether it's our pledge to be carbon neutral by 2050, whether it's our aging buildings, or the pandemic itself. So I actually wanted to ask our panelists, firstly starting with Andrew, on how do you prioritize? How do you decide which problem to work on?
Well, obviously, in the current pandemic, I think everybody's focus is on solving current problem. So we started off by addressing pain points, and we look at short-term, medium-term, long-term pain points. I mean, obviously, right now, everybody is about the air quality, it's about the pandemic, it's about having clean environment for consumers, for users, and because that is what everybody's focusing on. But those are the more shorter-term priority. The longer term, we do look at the ESG and energy usage. I think those are our longer-term priorities that we do need to address from now. So we're focusing a lot. Short-term stuff, we're looking for short-term solutions. Longer term, we're looking for longer-term solutions. But persistently, I think the long-term one are the one we really need to drive. And I think the property sector as a whole, and I also look at we have a group among the property developers called the PropTech Alliance of Hong Kong, and there's about 15 of us in the group. And all the innovation sections are looking in similar dimensions across those problems.
Okay, great. And Anthony, from a utility perspective?
Okay. As my duty is that we have to look after all the aspects of our business customer. So one of my major duty, as I mentioned before, is that we treat us as an orchestrator to help them to solve their business problem. So I think nowadays, most of the people that they look at the problem maybe very focused on those problems. But sometimes when we have to find a solution to solve a problem, maybe we overlook some of the associated issue. So the solution may not be how to solve the problem holistically. So that's why I think nowadays when we are faced to solve the problem, we find a new rate or new approach towards innovation. So what kind of thing that we have to do is that we are now using design thinking approach. So I think design thinking approach is very systematic approach. We start from the angle of customer or people-centric. So we have to look at our customers' ecosystem at the end process so that we can identify the problem. So if we use the design thinking, there are 4 major steps that we always follow. The first one is that I think very important is that we have to understand our customer need and find the pain point. And the second one is that we call ideation. Ideation is that it's the way for us to how to generating or develop some methodology to solve the problem. And the third one is that once we get the solution, so that we have to do the pilot to ensure that our idea or our solution can be worked before we deliver. And the last one is delivery. Delivery is that we have to make sure that the solution can be delivered to the market and meet our customer needs. But it's very easy to say, but I think if we have to build the capability of our colleagues to ensure that they can know about these techniques to help to solve the problem. So there's 3 pillars that we have to ensure that they have these capabilities. The first one is the culture. So we ensure that they understand about the people-centric or customer-centric mindset. And second one is that the capability, and the last one is motivation. So we arrange a lot of training courses and for our staff. So up to now, I think we have more than 50 staff that they have this capability to leverage the use of design thinking approach to help our customer to solve problem or identify if there's any smart solution or to help them to save energy to combat climate change. Yeah.
Okay.
This is what we do now.
Perfect. I'm glad you threw in delivery there as well. Kelvin, from Schneider's
Yeah,
perspective.
thank you. And actually, I really appreciate Anthony's very good points, and especially design thinking. Actually, we also have this kind of design thinking. We have another name, it's called the 4D approach. Okay, 4D. What are the 4Ds? The first one is to discover. It's just like Anthony said before, try to discover the pain points of our customers to understand what they need. And that's the first thing we need to do. And the second D is called define, just like Anthony's ideation. So we need to define the solutions. So we see the pain points and what should be the solutions. What are the options we can have? So we further develop the concept. And that's the second stage. And the third one, the third D, is to develop. So we have some basis already. We have the foundation. So we build up on the foundation. Is to develop the solutions in more details. Okay, that's the third D. And then fourth D is to deliver, as Anthony also mentioned before. So we've already have the prototype ready. Some people will call it proof of concept. Then we try to apply it to our customers' side, and we start on a very quite a small scale first and try to prove the concept. If it is available, then we will commercialize or try to scale up the whole thing. And that's the 4D, or some people call it double diamond approach. So that's the way that we try to solve the problems. And one thing I need to mention is throughout the whole stage, and actually people is very important. Everything is about people. We need to put ourselves into the shoes of our customers. So they are people. We maintain very close communication and collaboration with them to understand their pain points, as I said before, to understand their needs and try to customize or even personalize our solutions for them. So that's how to make things happen and how to make things work. And sometimes there will be some try and error process where we need to iterate in order to find the best solution for our customers. Then we prove the concept, and the rest is history. That's the way we do so.
I actually want to come back to you a little bit later on the solution side, but I actually want to first hear from Andrew as well, from your perspective too.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, one of two major strategies from our company is driving wellness as well as net zero carbon. The wellness part is actually way before pandemic. We are delivering or asking our customers to join the journey of wellness. But at the current stage, we are actually facing a different challenge because we have a lot of targets to achieve down the line, let's say the net zero carbon, but there's no time to waste. But based on the current economy, there's actually a lot of budget being cut. We have limited budget, but a lot of achievement go ahead down the road, right? So we have no more time to waste. So what happened is right now we are targeting some newer technologies to help us to achieve our target without having to spend even extra money. So there's a lot of corporations already facing the same challenge. It's the limited capital, but with a lot of action that need to be done. So we are doing a lot of POC, as Kelvin has mentioned, but at the same time, we are also evaluating what is the best value for money solution to help ourselves and our customers to achieve our ambitions. So this is what we are working on as a priority right now.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I heard about pain points, choosing the right problems to solve, prioritization, and a lot of structure from Kelvin, which I wanted to pick on a little bit. Because when you figure out what problem you want to solve, there are so many different types of solutions, and there's so many different types of ways of solving that. How do you go about that process, and what are some of specifically the challenges that you face in rolling out some of these technologies?
Oh, so start from me first.
Start from you first.
Okay, yeah, I have
You
the
start.
privilege again, and thank you very much. Lots of challenges, as I said before, like a technology, as you know. Okay, we say technology is from the people, of the people, for the people. And actually, people is the biggest barrier of the technology. Really, really. A lot of technologies. We have a lot of innovation. The world is more advanced than you can imagine and you can think right now. But just people don't accept this. Or people, they're very reluctant to take the challenges or the risks they can see. So we mentioned one thing, a lot of, all four of us, POC, proof of concept. And we need to think about proof of concept is, by definition, there will be some risk in it, okay? So if it is not proof of concept, it is proof of fact. then proof of fact is meaningless to test it, right? Yeah. So by definition, proof of concept is you know something, you don't know something. Okay, you need to find out the challenges or the risks or the improvement areas in the proof of concept. So one thing we need to bear in mind when we do the POC is you need to accept this is not 100% in line with your current requirements. As long as you can it meets 70% of the core requirements, then it's worth for you to go ahead with the proof of concept. So throughout the whole process, you will know what we should improve and how we can better fit with your existing system. And that's also the agility we need to do. And after proof of concept, then there will be two more steps. Actually, it's a proof of market. The concept is already here. It's proven. Then more customers, they will buy the solutions and they will adopt this. That's the proof of market. And last one will be the proof of impact. So you will see the benefits, and it will enter the organic growth stage. More and more customers will buy the solutions, and it's just like the snowballing effect. It will grow more larger by itself. So proof of concept, proof of market, and proof of impact.
Just on this, Anthony, you also engage a lot of customers on this, and I think there's a lot of questions that they have on this area. Well, how does that look like in terms of sourcing the right solutions and picking the right ones for them?
Yes, I think on our side, we have another challenge. If we would like to explore any innovative or smart solution, I think the challenge is a CAT. CAT is CAT. CAT stands for CAT. The first one is C stands for the customer's pain point. A is stand for awareness of the technology, and T is the trial, similar what Kelvin says, POC. So what is the customer awareness? Because if we do not aware of our customer's pain point, no matter how we spend a lot of effort to explore a lot of technology, it's useless because we have to straight directly to go to the pain points so that we can find out the right solution. So we have a group of account manager. They work with our customer doing the daily operation. So we have to ensure that our colleagues, our account manager, to embed with the design thinking concept, or they have well understand about the ecosystem of our customers' business trade, so that they can understand about the pain point and understand what they need, so that we can source the technology. So this is the first one. And the second one is that about the awareness of technology. Why? Because in the market, there are so many so-called smart and innovative technology. It takes a lot of time for us to filter out which one is the best for us. very a lot. So it's so lucky that we have Pop's team because he has a lot of experts to help us to find out some of the innovative solution. We have our very good business CPE solution. CPE solution help us to find out some end-to-end solution for the implementation. Other than that, we also partner with some startup organization. Say, for example, Hvac. I think maybe Hvac is one of the startup organizations that he connected some of the startup and the world large utility company, so the startup can provide some cutting edge technology and help us to tailor-make some of the solution. So we have to find a lot of ways to ensure that we can find appropriate technology, but we have to more cost effective instead of to look at all the things. Right. Otherwise, we save our time. And the last one is about the trial. I think trial is very important. Is that once we are aware of the technology, but we should find a place or find the premises to test the technology, because sometimes I think I understand that most of the render that there's a difficulty for them to find a place. But from CP Power point of view is that we have a large customer base, we have very good relationship with our customers, so that we will find our customer to do some of trial to ensure that the solution can be implemented or feasible. Otherwise, if we don't understand about its performance or its efficiency, it cannot be delivered into the market. So this is a major challenge that we are always facing, but we are always find a way to solve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's actually hear from a customer now. I wanted to raise the same question to Andrew, but you're in an interesting position where you're at the edge of the organization and you're looking inwards. Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges that you see in terms of bringing in these technologies to an organization?
Well, I guess we same thing to the other speakers sharing. We're dealing with human beings, and I think all human beings have a characteristic of risk averse, And we really, what our challenge is to get the buy-in from our internal customers. As previous speaker said, there's tons of technology out there that, in fact, this world is not short of innovation. There are very good, very advanced innovation. Some are more practical innovation, but there are plenty around. Our challenge is to filter, similarly as what you're doing, filter and find the right solution that our people can accept and use. And what we are embracing is kind of like similar to the other speaker saying, is a sandbox concept where I say to colleagues, well, why don't you try at the innovation lab? Because I should the responsibility. If it doesn't work, your boss is not going, your immediate supervisor is not going to say you didn't do your due diligence properly because we shielded. But in that process, we also try to do the co-creation and ideation and find out their constraint and what they see. Now, in a lot of time, what I found is our own colleagues are trying to address operational issues. What if this thing doesn't work on 11:55 p.m. on the Saturday night and my customer rang? What am I going to do? You know, who will there be somebody to help me to solve the problem? What is the daily cleaning issue? Do I need to arrange for daily cleaners to clean certain things, etc.? So these are dimensions that we as innovators don't usually try to address, but it is their concern. So we found that by addressing their issues and let them air out their concern, we have a two-dimensional mixture. The innovators can come up with revised solution that would address the customer concern, and that actually create a better commercial solutions for the startup company that we work with. So both sides wins. And in that process, we are seeing an increasingly appetite of uptake of new technology within our own divisions, our own colleagues. And I think that is that is the major impetus to encourage the buy-in and the success factor that we can put in to encourage and make sure things do happen.
Right, right. On the startups, and Anthony, you mentioned this as well, I actually wanted to get Andrew's view because I know that you work with a lot of startups. Have you found a secret formula on getting the right solutions out there? What are the challenges that you've kind of overcome?
Yeah, speaking of challenge, I actually have a very different view with the other panelists here because my challenge is actually find the right application for a right situation. So there's a lot of startups there. They are promoting their value and what they can achieve. But in a matter of fact, they always focus. They are scientists, right? Mostly, they always think a perfect world. They always think they can deliver certain thing, but in the actual application, it actually may have very very different solution, like with the same technology. So, for example, we find that some of the I shared previously about the walkie-talkie technologies that we trial. Actually, they think they have a very ideal Bluetooth and earphone transmission, but that's not the right focus for our client. The technology itself, it looks good, but it's not functioning good enough. But that's actually other features within the solution, which they have a voice to test features, which is very good and is very applicable to our daily operation. So those kind of things, we have to identify what is the right value for money for our client or for the right situations with the new technologies. So millions of staff out there, they are promoting their solution, but we have to translate a little bit of what they can actually deliver in the different situations. So those are our challenges to try every different startup solution and look for the right application in the right moment. So that's our challenges.
If I can do a quick plug, Andrew spoke a little about his innovation lab. It is very, very cool. There's a lot of the startups that are there where I think Andrew's actually bringing it into the organization, which is, I think, one of the great avenues that startups can use. I do want to touch a little bit further on one specific segment of solutions, which is on the HVAC. You spoke a little bit earlier about retro commissioning being the best way. Can you tell us a little bit about what are some of the trends that you see in the HVAC space?
Yeah, definitely technologies is the biggest trend. Like we see a lot of AI application in HVAC already. But speaking of retro commissioning, there's actually another experience I want to share because we talk about humans is the biggest barrier. It's true because when we do retro commissioning, there's a lot of time we have to change the operation mode, and most of the time, the plant technician has been working there for over multiple years. So if they can see to operate differently, they already done so, right? But by virtual commissioning, we are telling them to use the chiller plant or the HVAC system differently, so they may not believe what we propose, especially when we're trying to use technology as well, because they think they may lose their job in the future. So this is one of the things I always promote in my other sessions. So embrace the challenge is the most difficult part for us to share with the technicians or the frontline colleagues. But at the same time, I think even our senior management say the same thing. If we don't embrace the change, everybody will lose our job because technology will actually, the wave will cover everything, right? So we have to embrace the change to do more like value add service to provide in our daily operation in order to survive. So the challenges or the trend we see is definitely to apply technology and AI, particularly in the HVAC segment, and we see a lot of solutions out there. So maybe Kelvin can share more as well, I think.
Maybe perhaps I supplement a little bit
Yeah,
about
please,
virtual commissioning. I think it's very good to use the virtual commissioning because previously most of the our customer they just replace their equipment by those energy efficiency equipment. But for virtual commissioning, it's a new technology or new approach introduced by EMSD last few years. And this is very new. So I think this year CLP also spent about $1 million to launch a training program to engage or to train up more than 100 organization staff to ensure that they understand about this virtual commission system. Because for using virtual commission system, they can spend a less money, but they can achieve a more energy saving. So this is very welcome by the customer. So I think it's good to promote this kind of thing. So I'm very appreciate that you have a specialist on this. This area.
But this requires very different skills. I'm glad that you promote a training because for virtual commissioning, it's actually re-engineering of the process. So a lot of time we are trying to achieve same thing with achieve a goal with the same equipment or operation by changing the operation is actually quite different, particularly for space a temperature management as well. Because in current moment, all of us will have different temperature preference, right? So in order to survive in an open space office, which is very common now, with different perspective, it's actually pretty hard to achieve. So virtual commissioning is the most cost-effective solution.
Yes, just minor adjustment about the parameter of some equipment instead of replace them, so they less cost but can achieve the saving.
Yeah, but with the IoT technologies, more and more new technologies come up, actually making our life easier with virtual commissioning.
Just on the topic of IoT technologies, I actually did want to hear from Kelvin on, there's a lot of R&D investment that Schneider does on this. Could you share a little bit about what some of the trends that you see in this space?
Okay, yeah, as I said before, if you listen to my presentation, then IoT and cloud will be the bedrock of the future technologies, and actually they are existing technologies. For example, the VR, okay, and lots of data, you need to send it to the VR and you can visualize the size, you visualize the assets, know the performance with your real eyes. And also with blockchain. So blockchain is a hot topic, especially with the rapid development of renewables and decentralization of the grid. So people are doing the peer-to-peer energy trading. Okay, from buildings to buildings. So it relies on the blockchain. So it is also part of the IoT-enabled technologies. Of course, then will be AI. A lot of people talking about AI. So we are moving towards this direction. So as you know, we have the analytics and how to make the analytics more intelligent and to give you more insights, how you can save your energy, how you can improve the performance of your assets. Then we need AI. And furthermore, we'll be more futuristic with the robotics to do the automation. Okay, you have already got the insights. You've already got what you need to do, but who carries out? Right now, it's still human beings. And what should we do in the future is the robotics will help you fix the problem, especially in some places that is not accessible to or not safe for the human beings to do so. Then the robotics will also help you. But of course, this topic is quite academic in this sense, but what we can see, it will be the future. So IoT cloud will support, underpin the megatrends of the future digitalization and also innovation of the world. That's what we can see. And reply to your point. Okay, virtual commissioning in Schneider we call it modernization. So if you have any training, then we are very happy to hear that. Actually, yeah. So we have lunch together. Right?
Okay.
In fact, we're running out of time, but I did want to touch on one topic which we highlighted earlier about POCs. And there's a lot of technology talked about where we can POC, and I actually want to hear from Andrew around POCs are great when they go to plan, but they rarely do. So I wanted to hear about what are some of the unexpected outcomes that you've seen from your POCs.
Okay, well, if I cite an example, at the Olympian City shopping centers, we run a number of car parks. So one of the trial we were doing is we use an innovative sensing technology, and of course a lot of proposal came through saying your payback, blah blah blah, and but we were quite surprised to see the outcome that the power saving was more than what was suggested. And in that process, and everybody kind of felt, wow, the embracement of technology can bring unexpected outcome better than what was on paper, and in a way help them to achieve the outcome. And on that, they were saying, well, hey, why are we waiting? We should do more to other shopping centers. So that was a kind of unexpected outcome, not from me anyway, but I think the colleagues found it very, very powerful.
And did the particular startup or the product vendor take some of that feedback in for their
Yes. In fact, we work with a startup on that, and they also, I mean, they can predict it, but then everybody's kind of pleasantly surprised that the outcome matches what was predicted.
Okay. I think the panel has certainly more stories on particular POCs and their learnings from that. We're running out of time, but I did want to encourage the audience that there's a question mark on the top of the website. So please, if you've got other questions, submit them, and then we'll make sure that we can get your feedback. I wanted to close with just thanking our panel members for sharing their insights. So there's a lot more experience, and please reach out to all of us if you've got further queries and questions, and we're happy to advise. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So
Thank you so much to all our panelists and also our moderator. Wonderful section and insightful one indeed. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, with such an insightful sharing, what a better way than inviting Pops to remain on stage to deliver a closing for our morning section of today's symposium. So over to you now, Pops, for the closing remarks for today's symposium morning section.
thank you so much. Actually, our goal this morning was actually to provide a bit of a periscope of what's actually coming over the horizon, and coming quite fast. You heard a little bit earlier from Cindy about there is absolutely an urgency for us to act from what you heard on the targets of hitting 1.5 degrees and so forth. But the thing is that there is actions that you can take, and you heard a lot about the different strategies and the technologies that are available. We focus today really on buildings, and it's actually very, very relevant for all of us. We grow in these buildings, we're born in these buildings, we spend a lot of our working lives here. So what can you do about that? And that's really what this morning was really about, on the innovations and how you can address those. Earlier today, you heard from Dr. Lowe on the transition to a smarter city and what actions that are happening at a macro level. And then you also heard from CLP's Hendrik and again from Cindy on what are the strategies that you can take in terms of setting targets and what corporates are doing, including CLPs. And then also from CLP's own Serena and AWS's Olivier and also Kelvin on the technologies that are available and then the practical use cases for those. And those are some things that you can really consider in your own operations. And then also from our panel just now, I think it was a great discussion around how to go through that journey, around the behavior change, but also going through the POCs and the practical examples that you can go through and making sure getting that buy-in, which is very, very important. It's not just a technology solution, it's not just a strategy solution, it's a people problem as well that we've got lots of experience throughout the industry that you can use from your peers or also from what you heard today. I think the other aspect is that the buildings area is a key area for us, and there is sustainability benefits in addressing these. The day is not over, and in fact, this afternoon we're going to zoom in on one of the topics that we spoke about, which is on the Hvac area. Why HVAC? Well, I think all of us have been in a cooling environment where it's overcooled or there is energy wastage. And there are strategies and there are innovations and technologies that can be had. There's about 60% of our energy goes to that cooling. So it's a key area to address. And you hear plenty of things around that. And CLP has invested a lot of resources and time in looking at and addressing these. So whether you have comments or whether you have feedbacks, ideas, or want to further discuss these areas, please reach out to us. The contact details are on the website itself that you can see. And I just wanted to thank you for your time, and hopefully it was a lot of areas which will help you with your ideas and your planning for the near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pops, for the closing remarks of our morning section. Ladies and gentlemen, as what Pops said just now, if there's anything that you would like to discuss with us further, remember, email us at enquiry@clpsec.com.